Welcome back to the J&W Fit Life. My name is Jason, and today I want to talk about relationship loyalty. So, this is via a request, and I can only tell you my perspective on this topic, from what I understand the topic to be. So, from relationship loyalty, I gather this is a romantic relationship and someone is maybe being disloyal. So with that little bit of information, I can tell you my aspect of any relationship. My view on any relationship is that you have to understand your role in the relationship. Right? Everybody in the relationship must understand their own role. Right? Whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a business relationship, it doesn't matter. Everybody needs to understand their role. Right? And understand the expectations of their partners in that role and in their role. Right? So if I understand my role to be A, B, and C, but my partner thinks my role is, X, Y, Z, then we're gonna have some issues, right? Especially if we are in this relationship and we are continuing on because we think each other, look good, and maybe it's a physical relationship, right? And if we're not on the same page, right, things will be a little rocky. So when I think of loyalty as in saying that you owe me something, right? So if my wife was not loyal to me, that means that I feel like she owes me something, right? I've given her so much that now she owes me. So now whatever it is she's doing, whether it's sleeping with somebody else or going out with her friends, whatever you feel like disloyalty is, I'm upset about it. So what I see a lot of times in relationships is that we enter into these relationships with a lot of expectations, right? But we don't necessarily discuss them. There's very little communication. So if I'm the type of guy who likes the woman to stay at home and cook and clean, right? That's my view, right? But when I go out and I look for a woman, she needs to have that same view as well, right? If you have two people, if you have these two people getting together, it's a perfect match. They both understand their roles, they both agree with their roles, and that's what they're going to do. Now, let's say I believe a woman should be career minded, and she should make her own money, and she should do all of these other things. She should go off and start her own business, and should not be in the home, right? And I should be in the home cleaning. I want to be a stay-at-home dad or whatever, right? Then I should find a woman, a wife, a partner who feels like that, right? So we match up. So whatever my expectations are of a wife or a partner, right? The partner should understand those expectations. and should either agree with them or disagree, and we communicate so that we both understand our roles, right? So I think there's a key there that a lot of us are missing, and it is more like self-respect, right? So you have to respect yourself. You have to understand yourself. You have to know yourself. You have to understand your personal goals, right? Get to know yourself. Be confident with yourself before you get into a relationship that will be so demanding of you, right? Because if I'm confident in me, I have my own goals. I understand what I want out of my life. Then when I meet someone, I can express to this person how I feel, what I want out of my life, and I can expect them to express the same thing. Now, if they don't have goals and they don't have dreams or ideas of their own, right? I should not be compromising myself for another person, right? So this is where when I talk about relationships, a lot of people don't really get me when I go this route. But when I think of two people in any kind of relationship, one person should never, this is my opinion, one person should never need another person, right? So when you say, oh, I need her or I need him, right? You shouldn't need them. You can want them with all of your heart, right? But needing them is something totally different. You should be your own person, right? Yes, it takes two people to create a relationship. So in that case, yeah, maybe you need them to have the relationship, right? But you don't need them for anything else. So if you understand and respect yourself, and your partner is just doesn't have the same viewpoints, and you're seeing this, and they're going off and they're hanging out at bars, or they're sleeping with the neighbor and her kids, and it's like, if you feel like you need that person and they're going off and they're doing whatever, you'll hang on to them. You'll try to keep that relationship because you're leaning on them financially, you're leaning on them emotionally, you're leaning on them for whatever it is you feel like you need them for, right? So if you continue to build your self-confidence, understand yourself, understand that you don't need anybody, right? Then when that person goes off and they do whatever it is that they're doing, you can feel comfortable cutting those ties and moving on, right? Yes, it's going to hurt your heart because you want them with all of your heart, but you don't need them, right? You can move on, to keep taking steps forward into your goals, into your dreams, your future, right? And you can cut those ties. So this one is a little. So this topic of relationships and loyalty, right? It's pretty complex, but at the same time, the way I think of it, you should not need anyone else. You can want them with all of your heart. You can want the things they bring to the relationship, right? But as far as standing on your own 2 feet, you should always be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Even if you are in a situation where you are not the breadwinner in the house, right? There are ways that you can continue to, reach your goals. What are your goals? Right? What are your goals? What are you planning to do with your life? Where do you see yourself in the next few years? Not your relationship. Right? Where do you want to be? Right? If you're in a relationship where you have your partner who is not who is just pulling you and keeping you from or you feel they're keeping you from reaching your goals or striving to what you really want to be, they're making you need them, right? They're influencing you to stay in a position where they provide everything for you, right? Might want to think about it. Not saying get out of the relationship, but definitely think about it. Maybe have some really in-depth conversations with your partner and where you want to go with your life and how they can help you get there. Right? If worst comes to worst and you lose your spouse, what are you gonna do? All right. Worst comes to worst and your partner does step out on you. Maybe you're not married. Because marriage has its own set of protections you can think. But if you're not married, right, and you are in this relationship, what kind of things have you done for yourself to keep from needing the other person, right? So I don't really know how many ways to say it. It's just that continue to improve yourself. Continue to keep a fit life. Like we say here, stay fit, keep your body strong, right? Exercise, stay healthy, eat right. Well, what we call right, whatever you call right, be healthy, right? Keep your body strong. Then we have our mindset. Continue to read, develop your mind, right? And then we have our spirituality. You have to believe in something. Keep moving forward. Keep those goals. Set those goals for yourself. Understand who you are and what you want to be, what you want to have in your life. Right? Who you want to have in your life. And that way, when you go out and you meet someone, you're meeting someone who respects your goals, respects your boundaries, not making you need them. Right? And if you don't have goals, someone told me a long time ago that if you don't have, that was a different saying. It was more like, I flipped it around. So they told me if you don't have something to stand up for, you'll fall for anything. So I embraced that and I flipped it around and saying that if you don't have something to shoot for, then you'll be liable to do anything. Right? If you don't have your own goals, you'll be liable to do anything. So I originally would think about this, while I'm sitting at home. This was in high school. I'd be sitting at home and I think about it and, it's like, well, if I don't have homework, if I don't have sports, if I don't have practice, when the the guys come over and they say, well, let's go to the mall. Let's do this. Let's do that. Yeah, well, I don't have anything else to do. Then I will be more likely to go out and hang out and do nothing, or be sucked into the boredom activities, than to go to practice, go to work, do my homework, that kind of thing, because I don't have anything. I don't have anything planned, right? So the same thing comes in with the romantic relationships. If you don't have goals, right, when you get into these relationships, you don't have a dream, you don't have anything that's moving you, right? When you get into a relationship with somebody who does, whether it's positive or negative, maybe they're living a street life, or maybe they have no clue where they're going, but they make you think they do, and he's just, or she's just going in a circle, right? It's going in a circle. And if you don't have your own goals and dreams, you're going to latch on to them, right? And maybe they talk a big game. They're confident when they talk about their circle they're going in, and you're like, man, that's a great plan. Let's just go in a circle, right? By the time you realize that, you guys are going nowhere, your heart's into it, your mind's into it, and they have sucked you in, and you are needing them to do nothing. And you're doing nothing together, right? Because you didn't have any goals for yourself. You didn't have any plans for yourself. Or maybe you didn't believe in yourself enough. Maybe you didn't believe in yourself, believe in your plan, your confidence to reach your goals. Right? You just dropped everything for them. Right? You have to respect yourself, love yourself, understand yourself, spend time with yourself. I remember I used to listen to Joel Osteen when we had the CDs in the car, and he had made a CD on a book. I mean, a book on a CD, and I listened to that going back and forth to college, right? And one of the things that he said that really stuck with me is that we don't spend enough time listening to ourselves. I think it was Joel Osteen. I could be wrong. Did listen to a lot of stuff back then, but we don't spend enough time listening to ourselves, and that most people don't understand what their own voice sounds like. Right? I know it's a little different now because we're all on YouTube and social media and all this stuff. We're videotaping ourselves doing all this stuff, the TikToks and whatnot. But still, what about that inner voice? We won't understand what our inner voice sounds like because we're always filling it with other people's voices. We're always filling it with music, right? But at the time, it was definitely music. And, we rarely sit and think and listen to ourselves, where most of our issues that we have in life, they can be solved just by taking a second and listening to yourself. You have it right here. You just didn't give yourself time to listen, right? So a lot of times we'll wake up in the morning with a fresh mind, and all of a sudden we just figured it out, right? Because you already had the answers, and a lot of times you do, right? So I'm going all around the bush here to just to say that when we look at loyalty in relationships, look at yourself. That's all I'm trying to say. Look at yourself. Look at what you expect out of your partner, right? Do they know that's what you expect, right? Did you talk about this? Did you talk about your expectations? Did you talk about your expectations? And we just assume that everybody believes that. Well, once we get together, I'm the only person you're gonna have sex with, right? There are a lot of different cultures in America, a lot of different belief systems, a lot of different experiences. Some people, they grew up in some really difficult situations that you couldn't even imagine, and just because they don't tell you about them don't mean that they didn't happen, right? And their views on sex and marriage and relationships are different sometimes. So it's up to you to create, when we're creating those relationships, when we're creating those bonds, to talk and communicate and make sure that our expectations and their expectations, they match up. That's what dating is about. That's what courting is about, right? It's not just making someone like you so you can get them under the sheets, right? We have to get away from that. We have to actually create a relationship, talk, right? And I know a lot of us in our culture today, we like to use alcohol and whatnot to loosen up the tongue so we can get the confidence to talk. Well, how about we try it without it, right? When you go out on your dates, go out with a mindset of you're going to speak from the heart with a clear mindset, and it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be afraid, right? It's okay to open up, right? Because if when we look at opening up to one another, right? I'm the type who I don't open up to everybody. I'm not going to sit there and tell all my business to the world, right? Even though I'm on YouTube now, right? Still pretty private person, right? So I'm not just going to open up. But when you find someone that you can open up to as you talk, right? Then especially if you're a private person like me, then you can start to see how your relationship is blossoming, right, with communication. And you start to understand that well, maybe I shouldn't have told her this, or maybe I should have told her more, or I'm starting to realize that this isn't what we want, right? This isn't good for me. This isn't good for you, right? So I can keep babbling on and on about relationship and loyalty, but again, bottom line, understand yourself, respect yourself, have goals for yourself, and communicate your expectations and understand their expectations. As far as loyalty, if they aren't meeting your expectations, don't be afraid to move on. All right? So you shouldn't need anybody. You should want them. Want them with all of your heart. All right? Again, all right, so this was a long one, a complicated one, but I hope you got my understanding of a little bit of my understanding of relationships and loyalty. All right. So if any more suggestions, let me know. jnwfitlife@gmail.com. Submit comments below and let me know what you think. It'd be interesting. Thanks a lot. See you in the next one. Have a fit life.